This was a bad sequel. I'm going to spoil everything about the movie. Hello, welcome to Just My Thoughts. I'm your host Khaleel Ward. On this episode, I'll be talking about The Old Guard 2. It's a Netflix movie starring Charlize Theron, Kiki Lane, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Uma Thurman, and Henry Golding. The first movie was directed by Gina Prince Bythewood, who directed Love and Basketball, and The Woman King. She knows how to do action. Right off the bat, I didn't know there was a new director, but in that first scene with the action happening, I could tell it just felt different. I don't usually do this, but I went back and watched my review for The Old Guard, and I just kept mentioning the action. The action sequences were well done. The way the team worked together was just really cool because they've known each other for centuries and they just played off each other really well. And that was gone immediately in this movie. Quick recap of The Old Guard, in case you've never seen it. You should watch that one. It's good. It's on Netflix. Came out 5 years ago. We follow a team of immortals led by Theron's Andy. She's the oldest of the group. And they learn that there's a new immortal showing up. Kiki Lane's character now, she's a Marine. And she's supposed to die and she comes back. And like all the immortals can see that. So they're like, all right, we got to go get her. Andy recruits her. Now doesn't want to go. Eventually she decides to go. The immortals do missions, save people. But Chiwetel Ejiofor's character, he was trying to capture the immortals. And he set a trap for them, to see their abilities. By the end of the movie, they start working together. They get cool. One of the immortals, Booker, I believe, he gets kicked out the group because he did some shady stuff or whatever. Quick recap. Anyway, part 2. We see this immortal being rescued. Her name is Quinn. And in the first movie, we get a quick flashback of Andy and Quinn. They were like best friends. That was like her only friend for centuries. And when they get captured, Quinn is taken and put in a coffin and pushed in the ocean. So Andy hasn't seen her for a very long time. She went looking for her, but just couldn't find her. She was in the bottom of the ocean or whatever. So she just couldn't find her. Part 2 opens with Quinn being rescued by this lady. We learn her name is Discord. She's also an immortal, but we don't really know her motivations. They don't explain it throughout the movie. So now Quinn wants to meet Andy. So she goes through Booker because Booker is on his own. And then Booker eventually tells Andy, like, hey, Quinn is back. She wants to meet you, blah, blah, blah. And when they meet, it's supposed to be this emotional meeting. Like, oh my God, I haven't seen my friend for centuries. And you just don't feel it. You don't feel anything. I don't know if because the first movie came out 5 years ago or what, but you don't feel anything when they meet. And it's a disagreement. Quinn is upset that Andy stopped looking for her. Andy's like, you were in the ocean. Like, I had to keep living. Anyway, they have a little tussle. And eventually Andy learns that Quinn is working with Discord. Again, we don't know the motivation. There's no real motivation. It's not like Discord in the beginning of the movie is like, I want to crush the immortals for such and such. We don't learn any of that. We learn why Andy, by the end of the first movie, has now become mortal. And Henry Golden's character, he's another immortal. He's like the librarian. He has all the books and he's been reading all up on stuff. And he explains like, this is why Andy is now mortal. And maybe she can become immortal again if such and such happens. So it's a lot of non-interesting things. Anyway, Niall is the only one who really can get through to Andy. And they always have tough conversations. The rest of the characters, they don't really get much to do in this movie. They have a little thing here and there, but you don't feel like they're part of the family anymore in this movie. It's just a lot of focus on Andy and Quinn and their history. So the other members are just there in the background. Like Copley, he's there in the background. And it's just Andy, Quinn, Niall, Discord. Those are like the main characters in this movie. But the action kind of sucks. It's a little boring. They don't really work off each other as much. They try to throw it in there at the last battle, but it just doesn't work like that. And it gets to a point where Quinn, after seeing Andy, is just like, I want to hurt her and all her friends. No motivation. Like, I just want to hurt her. And Discord is like, okay, I can help you do that. And then they set a trap, of course. And the Immortals are like, we got to go in because that's what we do. And it's like, huh? Why do you have to go in? You don't have to do anything. And then they go in and they get separated. And Discord is basically capturing the Immortals. And Discord's plan is to use Now, because apparently Discord is like the first immortal and Now is the last immortal ever. And she's going to use Now to destroy everybody, because if Now hurts one of the Immortals, they lose their ability. That's what happened in the first movie. That's why Andy's mortal. But an immortal can give up their immortality to someone else, but they have to be willing to do it. And Booker gives his immortality back to Andy, and then now Andy's immortal again. And you're like, huh, what is happening here? So eventually, all the Immortals get captured, and Andy's left to fight Discord. And she learns Discord is mortal. How? We don't know. They don't explain it to us. And Andy loses this fight because she just got her immortality back or whatever. I don't know how she lost the fight. And then you're left with Andy and Quinn. And after 5 years, you wait 5 years. 5 years for this sequel. And it ends on a cliffhanger. Like, everybody gets captured. All the other Immortals get captured real easy. Like, they was like, we don't care about you. Zip them up in bags. And now it's Andy and Quinn left. And Andy is getting ready. And I'm not looking at the time. I'm like, all right, cool. They're about to finish this movie with a raid of Discord's base. Andy and Quinn about to save the day. Yada, yada, yada. And we learn, because Andy always goes first. In the first movie, she says it a lot. Like, I always go first. She says it in this movie. And then when her and Quinn are talking, Quinn is like, I'm going first. And Andy's like, no, I do that now. You don't do that anymore. And it's like, all right, cool. They're about to go kick butt. Yeah. And it fades to black. We don't even get an ending to this movie. It took 5 years to come out. We don't get an ending to this movie. So I'm sitting there like, how do you release this? Like, part 1 was really good, and this sequel sucks. Like, you can watch part 1. You can be like, man, this is good. And then, I don't recommend it, but watch part 2 after watching part 1, and you're gonna be like, this is not the same story. These are, like, the characters look the same, but these are not the same characters. You don't care about them at all. You're just gonna be baffled by like how bad this sequel is, and I don't know. I just don't know how they messed it up, and I don't think we're gonna get a part 3 to finish the story, because this movie is just bad, all around bad. Those are my thoughts on The Old Guard 2. Watch it after watching part 1. Watch it just so you can see how bad it is and how they just dropped the ball with this franchise. But let me know if you watched this movie. What are your thoughts on it? Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.